6 WDSU New Orleans. Now, from your 24-hour news source, this is 6 News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gary Mattingly.
And I'm Lynn Gasnar. Norman Robinson has the night off. A desperate search continues along the Southern California coast tonight for survivors in the crash of 2 Navy jets. 27 people are still missing. The pair of submarine hunting planes were on a training mission early today when air traffic controllers lost contact with the crews. Stormy seas are hampering the search, but bits and pieces of debris have been recovered.
Bad weather and heavy smoke from the burning Kuwaiti oil fields are being blamed for the crash of a Saudi transport plane trying to land in northern Saudi Arabia. 92 Senegalese soldiers and 6 Saudi crew members are reported dead. 3 of the Senegalese soldiers survived the crash. All of the soldiers were part of an Allied force deployed in the Persian Gulf. The Senegalese were being flown back to their homeland.
Safe returns home were answered prayers for family members of nearly 100 area soldiers today. As Lesley Hill reports, the homecomings ranged from the traditional to one with a distinct New Orleans flavor.
The happy scene we've seen so many times was repeated at New Orleans International. The tears, the hugs, as at least 40 members of Kevin Robinson's family welcomed him home from Saudi Arabia. You miss a lot in 7 months, but Robinson had no trouble picking right up on life at home with help from the Rebirth Jazz Band. Robinson helped supply soldiers moving into Iraq. This night, he supplied the entertainment. Some soldiers kissed the ground. Robinson hit it.
Look at the airplane. You see him, Andrew?
In Biloxi, a traditional military welcome was in store for 70 members of the 7th Airborne Command and Control Squadron and Keesler Maintenance Company. Still, it was more than any of these soldiers expected. This group directed battles from the air during the war. On the ground at home, their mission was to reunite with loved ones. When Staff Sergeant Dana Williamson left last August, he had braces on his teeth.
Hey, buddy boy.
I love you.
I love you.
Oh, your braces are gone. You got them taken off? You've been waiting for Daddy. You've been waiting. Say I couldn't talk or walk, Daddy. That's Daddy, darling.
Activated during the Vietnam War, this squadron has never lost a man or a plane. The same can't be said for the Iraqi soldiers who faced them. Each camel on these EC-130s represents 5 successful combat missions.
Yeah, we did good.
You did good. You did good, baby. The Lord is good. The Lord is good. Brought you home safely to us, didn't he?
Sure did.
Amen to that.
As happy as the men and women of the 7th Acts and their families are today, they ask for prayers to continue for the men and women who are still in the Middle East, thousands of miles from home. At Keesler Air Force Base, Lesley Hill, 6 News.
More members of the 7th are expected home this weekend, but some will remain in the Middle East indefinitely.
A welcome home of a different sort at the Lakefront Airport tonight. Some Air Force veterans returned from battle over 40 years ago. Others came home just days ago. But all received a well-deserved thank you. Janet Whitters was there.
It was a party that many veterans didn't get when they came home the first time. Heroes of all air wars were honored at the Lakefront Airport. None of the veterans we talked to felt like heroes. They say they were only doing their job during a tough time, but they appreciate the thank you anyway.
If we'd had a little bit more of this support during the Vietnam era, things may have turned out quite a bit differently.
People recognize what we did and what the pilots in Vietnam did. It's certainly past due.
This was not only a time for thank yous and for pats on the back, but also another time to take a trip down memory lane. This B-24 transport plane flew in just for the occasion. This is the last operating plane of its type. John Butts used to fly it.
I feel like I was very fortunate to have been in combat and to have come back undamaged and proud to help my country.
These veterans are also proud of their country for another reason. They say it's about time the nation banded together to stand behind its troops, much as it did for soldiers in Desert Storm. Janet Whitters, 6 News.
Just ahead on your 24-hour news source, President Bush has his say about the Los Angeles cop beating video.
And there's a fight on Capitol Hill to keep illegal guns off the streets of our nation. More when 6 News Tonight continues.
I spend quite a bit of time in the dining room, and I make a point of visiting every table. First of all, I meet a lot of nice people, and I like the harvest.
Teach your children to care for the earth. On Saturday and Sunday, March 23rd and 24th, the Audubon Zoo and the Aquarium of the Americas will host Earth Fest 91. Play environmental games with your children. Visit over 60 environmental exhibitors. Explore the world beneath the waves in our underwater parks. And enjoy live entertainment featuring John Sebastian. So help us give the planet the tender, loving care it deserves. And attend Earth Fest 91 at the Audubon Zoo and the Aquarium of the Americas, March 23rd and 24th.
Schwegman helps you dress up for Easter. We've got leg sheer energy pantyhose and slippers on sale now at great low prices. Plus, large 21 to 25 pound shrimp are just $3.99 a pound. Fancy sweet Thompson seedless green grapes are 89 cents a pound. And buy 12-ounce Kraft Velveeta slices, regular or extra thick, $1.59.
Everything checks out better. Check out Schwegman. Check out Schwegman now.
I tell you now, all my girls know the situation we're in, and we're all pitching in. I want them to have all the things I never had, and I tell them the key to it is most important is their education.
Hi, everybody. I'm gonna go study.
Some kids think it's okay if they just pass, but that is just not right.
I'm tired of studying.
You've got to study. You get A's, you get B's, maybe C's, but you never get D's. You can call down a teacher now. There are no more excuses.
Since last year, over 50,000 people got help from a very special service. LP&L's Dial-A-Teacher, developed with help from Entergy Corporation.
My girls are gonna be fine, just fine.
Louisiana, as our kids get better, our state gets stronger.
Going out for dinner, especially to the veranda, the last thing on my mind would be where to park. Nobody should have to think about parking. They should be thinking about my cooking.
Police have arrested a New Orleans man for the murder of a 15-year-old Booker T. Washington High School student. 20-year-old Michael Jarrow is in police custody tonight. He'll be charged with killing Damon Hankton. Hankton was shot to death during his lunch period on the grounds of Booker T. Washington High School in February. Another student was shot and wounded in that attack. Well, the uproar over the videotaped beating of a 25-year-old Los Angeles man isn't subsiding, and the calls for the resignation of that city's police chief are getting louder. Community activists have launched a citizens' effort to remove Daryl Gates under a section of the city charter. Petitions are already being circulated. Meanwhile, police officials say Rodney King had alcohol and marijuana in his system the night he was stopped. Earlier, King's personal doctor said tests proved just the opposite.
Well, the Los Angeles police brutality case has President Bush speaking out on the matter from the White House. The president says the videotape was sickening, but he is withholding comment on whether Police Chief Daryl Gates should step down. Bush says Gates is entitled to a credible hearing. However, the president vows police brutality will not be tolerated and made a personal pledge to see to it that such cases are investigated and prosecuted. The issue of gun control kept lawmakers on Capitol Hill in heated sessions today. Former White House Press Secretary James Brady told the House Crime Subcommittee that he and his wife Sarah are on a crusade to make the nation safer for, quote, our children and grandchildren, end quote. Brady, shot and crippled 10 years ago by a bullet meant for Ronald Reagan, testified today in support of a bill that would require a 7-day waiting period to buy handguns. The bill, adamantly opposed by the National Rifle Association, was defeated 2 years ago.
Well, the fate of the Brady gun control measure is being closely watched here in New Orleans. Almost 90% of our city's homicides ended at the barrel of a gun. A federal mandate will help support local efforts to control the misuse of handguns. Russ Roberts has more.
In the wrong hands, guns are deadly. The homicide rate in New Orleans this year is climbing at nearly a murder a day.
About 85% of the homicides committed in this city are committed with handguns. And I think a waiting period for some might go a long way towards discouraging people to, you know, just indiscreetly buy weapons.
Local gun shops say a waiting period is not the answer.
And I don't see what this bill is going to solve. It's not going to take all the bad guns off the street and all the bad people, really.
Here at Gretna Gun Works, like any dealer in this state, those who buy guns must fill out a federal registration form. Computer checks for residency and felony offenses are completed before any weapon is sold. The most common gun purchased for self-defense is the .38 caliber revolver.
Now, gun dealers say what's most important about those who buy guns is that they know how to use them properly. That takes training.
We all have to get driver's permits. We all have to get training when we go to the NRA for our first hunting license. People should have to show a certificate that they know what they're doing with the weapon.
The jury is still out, so to speak, on the Brady bill. All but one of Louisiana's congressional delegates opposed the legislation. Bill Jefferson has taken no position. And until the verdict comes in, guns of all shapes and sizes will still be available to the general public with little to no weight. Russ Roberts, 6 News.
The former president of the local sheet metal workers union pleaded guilty today to embezzling more than $2 million from his union. Stanley Goday pleaded guilty to 23 counts of fraud. Goday took the money from the union's retirement fund and then gambled it away in Las Vegas. He's facing up to 115 years in prison. When we come back, we'll tell you why you should carefully read the warning on your sunscreen.
And Dan Milham will tell you why you may want to get out your umbrella when your 24-hour news source continues.
This Saturday's election is about renewal of AMID. The Times-Picayune says the 10-year-old district has had considerable success in drawing businesses and jobs to the area and needs this revenue to continue its efforts. From Gambit, AMID has met its mission commendably, attracting new industries to the city. BGR says it is highly unlikely that the area would have realized this level of capital improvements without AMID's existence. Homeowners are not affected by this millage. Only property within AMID will be taxed. Vote on AMID.
Now, 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 now. Nobody brings you the world like we do. Nobody brings you the movies like we do. Nobody gives you the sports like we do. It's always on cable just for you. Oh, yeah.
Enjoy the best of times anytime. It's always on cable. Cox Cable.
Too cool for words.
New Concept is my cleaners because they're not just another cleaners. They give me the ultimate in personalized service and quality. My clothes are important to me, and New Concept keeps them looking the part. No alibis, no excuses, just on-time service and great quality. New Concept gives me the most discriminating service I've ever had. And with convenient locations, New Concept really is clean across the city.
Nationally acclaimed Southern Lady Shows comes to Kenner this weekend. Shop for beautiful handmade arts and crafts by more than 170 national artists at the Pontchartrain Center this weekend.
Vans, and more vans. What they gonna do with all those things? Tom Benson Chevrolet's van headquarters shack. Get $6,000 minimum trade on any conversion van in stock. $6,000 for whatever you got to trade, huh? 2,600 veterans in Kenner.
Bad back, huh? Well, my brother-in-law can fix that. Really?
Better call the free service that matches you with the right doctor.
Now that the beach season is upon us, a consumer group is looking into sun safety. Before heading out for a little fun in the sun, the Consumer Federation of America is warning you to read the label on your favorite sunscreen. The group says some sunscreens may actually promote the growth of cancerous skin tumors. The consumer organization is asking the government to ban sunscreens and other cosmetics containing urocranic acid. They say the ingredient suppresses the immune system.
And Dan is in with the weather forecast, and the only thing we'd like to suppress is any threats of rain.
I wish we could do that, yeah. Is there anything we can put on that will keep rain away, do you think?
An umbrella, well, yeah, keep it off of you.
Yeah, right. Well, you may want to have one around tomorrow. There is a chance of a thunderstorm. Oh, it doesn't look like we're in for an overall rain that'll just ruin your whole day, but you got to understand there is the chance of a thunderstorm. Take a look at the fronts as they appear this evening over the United States, we have several areas of thunderstorms that are occurring back here in Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas. They're stretching up into Illinois. Some very strong thunderstorms up there. And here's what they're expected to do. This weak front, basically a dry line with some cooler, drier air back in the west, and of course the warm, humid air over us, is expected to move eastward and enter Louisiana tomorrow, moving through the state tomorrow, giving us, of course, a chance of a thunderstorm in our area as the cooler, drier air bumps into and lifts the warmer, humid air. Now, we're not talking cold front. I don't want to use that term because behind it, highs tomorrow are expected to be in the 60s and 70s over Texas, whereas our highs are likely to be in the 70s and 80s, depending on the thickness of the cloud cover and the exact location of thunderstorms, which, of course, cannot be foreseen ahead of time. Let's see what's out there right now, though. This is a look at the city through the city cam. Cloudy skies continue. Airport temperature 73, Audubon Park 74, Slidell 70, and the humidity is right up there, as you may have noticed if you've been out, 90%. It may be a little more comfortable because of that strong wind at 17 miles an hour and gusty, but it is humid. The air pressure has been hovering right around 29.95. It's now fallen off a little to 29.94. This is what we're looking at around the southeastern United States tomorrow. The front, a little bit cooler, a little bit drier air behind it, moves in through Louisiana. But in the upper part of the atmosphere, winds are likely to still be blowing from the southwest toward the northeast. Now, this means that this front may slow down. The timing of systems this time of year is largely dependent on the upper air movement, as it is any other time of the year. But the upper air movement this time of year tends to be a little tricky this part of the country when we have low pressure out there in the west in the upper atmosphere, as we do. So the timing of this frontal movement on through may have to be adjusted tomorrow. We may end up talking about a cloudier day on Saturday, but at the moment it looks as if that'll move on through in time for Saturday. Boating doesn't look good tomorrow. As that front approaches, our winds will continue to get gusty, south 15 to 20 knots, and gusty, especially around a thunderstorm or two, which of course is possible in area waters, just as it is over area land. Tides are expected to be above normal with the strong south wind. Low tides late night and early morning, and high tides afternoon tomorrow, range between 1.5 and 2 feet. Now again, your temperatures are above average and likely to stay that way at least until we get that cooler, drier air in here behind the front. So the morning low is not likely to be very low. In the low, mid, let's call it upper 60s. Cloudy skies, windy conditions continue, and yes, with the humidity, with all the air kind of blowing through and converging and causing the lifting and cloud cover, chance of a thunderstorm. Not a strong chance, but just because the chance is only 40%, remember we're talking thunderstorm. Isolated or scattered heavy thunderstorms could occur in this area tomorrow. They may not be everywhere, but some of you may really have a little thunder and lightning to deal with. We're hoping that by Saturday we start to see the sun again. Then on Sunday, again, we expect sunny, dry weather. So if that little frontal dry line moves on through by late tomorrow night or even early Saturday, we have reason to think of at least some sunshine and dry conditions for the weekend.
Well, that's hopeful.
So let's cheer it on in here.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
In sports, Tom Terrific is on top of things at the USF&G.
And the Tide and the Hogs try to move on in the NCAA tournament. Beau Brown is next with sports on your 24-hour news source.
Coming up later on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, it's actor-director Albert Brooks.
And it's true.
The Grammy-winning Robert Cray Band and comedian Yakov Smirnoff.
One good thing about Soviet Union, they don't have alimonies there.
Then, on Late Night with David Letterman.
Oh, thank you very much.
Dave Wilkins' actress Catherine O'Hara. Wow! And ballet star Rudolph Nureyev.
Do you mind if I take my shirt off?
What? Johnny and Dave later tonight on NBC.
All this week, the country's most popular brand of appliances on sale during Sears Brand Central's All Kenmore Spectacular. Many are reduced to their lowest prices ever. Like this heavy-duty, extra-large capacity 7-cycle Kenmore washer. It's just $347. Extra-large capacity dryer, only $287. Our lowest prices ever for the pair. Kenmore Appliances, America's most popular. Only at Sears Brand Central.
Over the past 2 years, Nissan has been given more accolades from prestigious automobile magazines than